All right, boys and girls, in this video, we're going to go over Math Message 2-5, and this is the main math lesson that we do in class. So if you're absent, you can use this video to help catch up, or maybe you just need to practice a little bit more, so you can watch this video as review. In this video, for this math message, we're going to be able to solve two-step number stories involving addition and subtraction. So just more word problems and more two-step word problems. Now, I really want to be able to work on writing number models for all of my steps. So if I have a multi-step word problem, I need to show number models for each of the steps that I did. So that's really what we're going to work on today. All right, let's look at this first problem. Now, the best thing that you can do when you're doing a word problem is draw a picture. Drawing a picture is really going to show all the information in the problem that you know, and it's really going to help you to write your number models later. So let's look at this first problem. Now, I guess I should back up and stop. If you don't have paper and pencil or a dry erase board and marker, then you're going to need to stop this video and go and gather those things so that you have something to write on. Also, we'll need our workbooks here in just a little bit, so gather your workbook as well. Okay, so James shares 10 grapes equally with his sister. Now I'm just going to stop right there. I'm going to stop at this period, and I'm not even going to draw anything else. That's all I'm going to draw. It says James shares 10 grapes equally with his sister. Okay, so here's these 10 grapes. Okay, I got my basket of 10 grapes, and those 10 grapes are going to be shared equally with his sister. So there's a pile for James, and there's a pile for his sister. So I'm going to share these 10 grapes equally, sharing them equally. So guys, if I'm going to do that, I can just share them out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now, you probably already knew that if you took 10 objects and split them into two piles, that it's 5 each. So maybe you just put a number 5 underneath of each one. So now let's look and see what happens next. It says, then he eats 3 of his grapes. Now, if he eats 3 of his grapes, what kind of math am I doing? I'm subtracting them, right? So of his grapes, it doesn't say anything about his sister's. He eats 3 of his. So the question is, how many grapes does James have left? And we talked about how when you see that word left in a word problem, you know that you had done some subtraction. All right, so here's this picture of what happened. Let's look at, now first of all, I can answer this question already, right? How many grapes does James have left? Well, I can look at it and I can see that James has 2 grapes left. But now what if I asked you to write a number model? There were 2 parts to this problem. What did you do first? The first thing you did was you actually took 10 grapes and you divided them between 2 people. When you did that, each person got 5 grapes. Okay. Then the second part you did is you took those 5 grapes and you subtracted 3, and that equals 2. So those are the 2 steps that you did for this problem. That's the kind of thing that we're going to work on today. We're going to get some word problems, we're going to draw out our steps, and then we're going to draw a number model for each step that we've done. All right, so let's skip that page there. All right, back to, I've got our little vending machine poster here, and it says that you have 75 cents. Now it says you buy a package of crackers and eat them. So let's just draw out what's happening right now. So I know I have 75 cents. This is in my pocket. Okay? Now it says I buy a package of crackers and eat them. So here's the crackers right here. All right, what are you going to do with those crackers if you buy that package of crackers? Because let's go ahead and read the rest of the problem. It says you're still hungry, so you buy a package of cheese sticks, and then the question is going to be how much money do you have left? So I'm going to try to figure out how much money I have left after I'm buying some things. So what do you buy first? The very first thing you buy is that package of crackers. Well, what kind of math, what operation do you do when you're buying something? You're going to subtract, right? So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my 75 cents I have and I'm going to buy that package of crackers. So I'm going to subtract that. Now what happens when you subtract 75 from 30? This is actually a pretty easy thing to subtract because it ends in 0, so all you got to do is subtract 3 tens. If I subtract 3 tens from 7 tens, I have 4 tens. The ones will stay the same. So I have 45 cents left. Now it says you're still hungry, so you buy a package of cheese sticks. So what are you going to have to do next? Well, now you take the money that you had left over from that and you buy your cheese sticks. Okay, so write your next number model. What are you going to write? If you buy cheese sticks, you're going to subtract them. Okay, pause the video if you need to. Find your answer. Okay, I know that I'm subtracting 5 on both sides, so that's going to leave me with 0. And I have 4 tens minus 2 tens, and so altogether I have 20 cents left. If you need to draw base 10 blocks, that's fine. 10, 20, 30, 40, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're going to subtract 25, 10, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so right there you have 20 left. But then I did 2 steps, so I'm going to have to write a number model for both of those steps. And that's what I'm going to be looking for. I'm going to be looking to see that you can write a number model for each of the steps that you do. All right, I'm going to give you a chance to do this one on your own here, and then I'll check back with you. So it says you buy 2 packages of granola, so 2 packages of granola, and a package of mints. It wants to know how much did you spend in all. We talked about the words in all being big clue words. What do you know you're going to do when you hear the words in all? We talked about there are 4 operations in math. We can add, we can subtract, we can multiply, and we can divide. So if you're finding something, if you're trying to find in all, what are you doing? We talked about we're adding. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pause the video. I want you to figure out this problem and then we'll go over it. Okay, so first of all, here's the packages. I guess I should have, it's so hard to see. You might not have been able to see that this was actually the granola. And so maybe you were struggling with that. So that's the granola. And you're buying 2 packages. So if the granola is 40 cents and you're buying 2 packages, 40 plus 40, how much did you spend on just the granola? This one should be easy math. You spent 80 cents. Then you bought a package of mints. Here's the package of mints. So I know I already spent 80 cents plus the 35. Okay, if you don't have this part figured out, pause the video. All right, this is easy math. It ends with a 0. So I'm just going to put an 8 tens to my 3 tens. 8 tens plus 3 tens is what? 11 tens plus the 5. So I've got 115. Now that's 115 cents, or you could rewrite it as $1.15. Remember, 100 cents is $1, so you would have $1.15. All right, so now that comes to our workbook pages. I want you to go ahead and turn in your workbook to page 44. I want you to go ahead and work out these problems. Draw a picture, guys. There's some room right here. There's some room right here that you can be drawing a picture. So draw a picture if that helps you out. Be sure you write your number models. Now these problems have more than one step. So if it took you 2 steps, I need to see both number models and then I need to see your answer. So draw your picture, write your number models, and give me your answer. Pause the video and then we'll come back together to go over them. All right, so let's look at this problem. It says that Jill has 83 cents. So here's Jill's pocket. She's got 83 cents in there. Now, what does she do with that 83 cents? She's buying things. So I know that money is going to be coming out of her pocket, right? And it wants to know how much money does she have left. So again, another clue word that I'm subtracting. You see the word buy, you see the word left, you know that you're going to be subtracting out of her pocket. So what are you subtracting out of her pocket? Well, before I can subtract, it says she buys 2 erasers for 25 cents each. First, I have to figure out what that is altogether. So I need to either do 2 groups of 25, or I could say 25 plus 25. So first I need to find out how much money she spent. So I'm going to add together these erasers. That way I know how much she spent. Now I can take that money out of her pocket. So if I do 83 minus the 50, and now that should give me my answer. So these are my 2 number models. You could have either done 2 times 25 or the same thing, 25 plus 25, and then you need to do your subtraction. If you didn't do your subtraction yet, go ahead and pause the video and do that. Again, this should be pretty easy math. This is an easy number that ends in 0. All I'm doing is subtracting tens. So what's 8 tens minus 5 tens? That would be 3 tens, and I still have my 3 ones. So altogether, that should be 33 cents. All right, looking at number 2. Now you should have already done this problem. If you didn't already do it, pause the video. There's no sense in just watching me do problems. First, you need to really give it a good try to solve this on your own. It says each pack of pencils has 5 pencils. So I'm just going to kind of draw that. It says each pack of pencils has 5 pencils. So I'm going to draw that I got that part done. Now it says you have 4 packs of pencils. Okay, so I have 4 of these. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Now each of them have 5. Okay, so I drew this part. You have 4 packs of pencils. It says then you give your friend 2 pencils. You give. What kind of math are you doing when you're giving? Well, you're taking away, aren't you? So it wants to know how many pencils do you have left. So if I give away 2 pencils, I'll just kind of take 2 pencils out of that pack. Okay? So now if I'm just looking at my picture, I can see, well, I've got 5, 10, 15, but when I took 2 out, that left me with only 3, didn't it? Okay? So I have 5, 10, 15, 16, 17, I have 18 pencils left. So even from my picture, I can tell what my answer is. But now I have to find my number models for what I did. What was the first thing I did? When I started drawing this picture, what was the very first thing I did? I drew my groups of my packs of pencils, right? Now, you can do 2 different number models. You can either do 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5, or you could write that as a multiplication number model. We learned last week that when you have equal groups, this is a multiplication problem. You have 4 groups of 5, and that would equal 20. So it doesn't matter if I say 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5, or if I say 4 times 5, that equals 20 pencils. Then what did you do next? You took those 20 pencils, and what did you do with them? You subtracted 3. When I take 20, or I'm sorry, I didn't subtract 3, I subtracted 2. Sorry about that. I subtracted 2, and when I take out the 2 pencils, that's when I'm left with my 18 pencils. All right, and finally, the last problem on page 44. If you haven't done it, please pause the video and do this problem. It says 3 friends equally share 15 almonds. So I have 3 friends. I'm equally sharing 15 almonds. I'm going to draw a picture of that. So here's my 3 friends. 1, 2, 3 friends. And I'm equally sharing 15 almonds. So I'm going to take these almonds, okay, here's my 15 almonds, and I'm going to be sharing them between my 3 friends. I just kind of like to pass them out, like I'm passing out cards, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. All right, so now I passed out these almonds between my 3 friends. Let's look to see what happened next. It says that one friend eats 3 of her almonds. So one friend eats 3 of her almonds. 1, 2, 3. How many almonds does she have left? So it doesn't want to know how many almonds are left. It wants to know how many almonds does she have left, the friend that ate some. All right, so what was the very first step that I did? The very first thing I did was I took 15 almonds and I divided them between 3 friends. Now, when I take 15 almonds and I divide them between 3 friends, how many does each friend have? They each have 5, right? That's division. Then, the next step is one of those friends. She has her 5 almonds and she eats 3 of them. That's going to tell me my answer. How many almonds does she have left? 2 almonds. All right, boys and girls, so that is it for math message. What is it? Math message, I don't know, 2-5, working on 2-step word problems. Maybe at home, have your parents give you some problems at home that's going to take you 2 steps to solve. Maybe first, you got to figure out if you and your brother each buy a candy bar, and mom gives you $5 to spend, how much money will you have left? So you're starting out with that $5, but you each buy a candy bar, so you're going to have to find out how much those candy bars are altogether and then subtract them from your money. So have your parents kind of come up with some 2-step word problems that are like real-life word problems for you to work out. And then the real challenge is to see if you'll be able to write number models that match each of those steps.